Welcome back to my series on Narcissism in the Pulpit, or the Narcissistic Pastor. I'm going to start off this section by reading another description of the narcissistic personality disorder. And here it goes. Narcissistic personality disorder is an all-pervasive pattern of grandiosity in fantasy or behavior, need for admiration or adulation, a lack of empathy, usually beginning early adulthood and present in various contexts. 5 or more of the following criteria must be met. 1. Feels grandiose and self-importance, or such as exaggerates achievements and talents to the point of lying, demands to be recognized as superior without commensurate achievements. 2. Is obsessed with fantasies of unlimited success, fame, fearsome power, or omnipotence. Unequaled brilliance, the cerebral narcissist. Bodily beauty or sexual performance, or ideal, everlasting, all-conquering love and passion. 3. Firmly convinced that he or she is unique and special being, can only be understood by, should only be treated by, or associated with other special or unique or high-status people or institutions. 4. Requires excessive admiration, adulation, attention, and affirmation, or, failing that, wishes to be feared and to be notorious, part of their needing their narcissistic supply. 5. Feels entitled, expects unreasonable or special and favorable priority treatment, demands automatic and full compliance with his or her expectations. 6. Is interpersonally exploitative, such as uses others to achieve his or her own ends. 7. Devoid of empathy, is unable or unwilling to identify with or acknowledge the feelings and needs of others. 8. Constantly envious of others or believes that they feel the same about him or her. 9. Arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes coupled with rage when frustrated, contradicted, or confronted. If you have encountered a narcissist in your world, you may be able to identify them just from the above description. You may have just had an aha experience, as I did when I began researching this personality, or you may be unsure. So, in keeping with discussing the characteristics of a narcissist, I can pick up my other list right where we left off. I believe I was on number 4. I'm going to cut out, because it's such a long list, some of the examples, and when they really hit close to home, I'll try to give you a good one. So, number 4 was on my list of the narcissistic pastor. Does not care about the consequences of his actions, may not even understand the connection. Now, if you'll check out Not Your Typical Negro's webpage, you're going to find a whole list of examples of people who don't seem to understand the consequences of being a pastor or so-called prophet or prophetess, and the way that their actions would reflect on their office. And so check that out, research that one on your own. Projects his or her faults on others, high blaming behavior, never his fault. Now this is something that I saw a lot. The example I gave of the lost sheep, wandering around everywhere without their pastor, had nothing to do with the way they were being pastored. And there were, always conversations about people who left the church and why they left the church, and it always had something to do with them. And when they were gone, they were backsliding. They were going back into the things they were in before they got delivered in this wonderful healing ministry. Oftentimes, if there was something going wrong in the church, that was blamed on whoever was delegated to handle a particular thing. I was a Sunday school teacher. If something wasn't going the way I felt it needed to be going in Sunday school, it was never because somebody was failing me higher up. It was always because I wasn't reaching my full potential. I wasn't doing everything I could do. If there was something I was unable to do, I was made to feel guilty about those things, even though I was just trying to set proper priorities and maybe, say, look after my husband and my family and not be so exhausted from so much church work. Number 6 is little if any conscience, will do almost anything he thinks will not be discovered, may ask staff to fudge the books. 7, insensitive to the needs and feelings of others. And this is something that I had happen to me, and it hit really close to home because I was running into situations where, I was trying to do certain things for the church, but my kids were in a particular area where they were really needing some babying or mommy time, and the two were constantly conflicting, and I was being made to feel guilty for laying things down, and at the same time, I felt guilty because I wasn't able to be the parent or the wife that I wanted to be at the time. And so, when I would go to my pastors and try to explain this, in trying to handle certain situations, I was called a gossip in another situation. I tried to explain, I don't think that the facts you got in this situation are exactly what happened, and, was basically called a liar. No, that's not true. Whoever came to me first is the one I believe this time. And that was probably because they were a particularly close friend. And so, seeing what I was going through in having to lay down responsibilities in the church or having to lay down responsibilities at home was just something they weren't able to see because it wasn't meeting their ends. It wasn't helping them achieve anything that they were trying to achieve in their church. 8, has a good front persona to impress and exploit others. Now this, in the situation that I left, is actually so very true because they've got a radio ministry and seem to be in relatively good standing with the church that runs that radio station, and have started being broadcast on TV, and it's because they put on a good show. When the female pastor will participate in this particular TV show, she will have times in between, like they do on most of the like TBN, where they have their praise-a-thons or whatever. They have the big names come out and speak and tell you to give money or whatever, and she'll come out and speak and seems to always have the right words for a particular situation, impresses the people around them, was able to get like a 2-hour special on TV about their church. And it's not because they're not doing people poorly, it's because when they're trying to get something, they're very, very charming. And this is something about the narcissistic personality disorder that you can't underestimate, is that they will be very charming, and they can, absolutely shower you with a particular amount of attention or feel good or whatever that can, be addictive in its own way and leads to those toxic faith things. Number 9, low stress tolerance, easy to provoke to anger. Now, I just kind of gave an example of that, where I would try to lay down something and, would be made to feel bad for doing that, and, try to handle a situation because I didn't go to the pastor a particular way. I was suddenly toe stomping, and I had no idea I was toe stomping. I was just trying to manage a situation. And anyway, a lot of people in this situation I left have even written letters to other people and said, if you don't believe the things that I'm saying, sit down and confront them about it, because they can't take it and you're going to see their true colors. And that's kind of what this is talking about, the low stress tolerance. You actually try to bring up an issue and you'll be attacked and accused, and or other people will be attacked and accused and made to feel bad, and it's really toxic and bad. So I'm about out of time here, so I guess that wraps up this segment. We will be starting on item number 10 or some other interesting definition when we get back to this next time. Thanks.